Hey guys, so today we'll be reading the passage called The Golden Touch. So we're going to copy and paste the link right here. And this is going to be a two-parter, so this is going to be the reading part of this video, and the other part will be answering the questions. So let's go. My computer's acting very slow. It's got to be very distant. So here is The Golden Touch. A tale retold by Nathaniel Hawthorne, 1804 to 1864. So, this passage right here. And here's the questions that we'll be answering in part 2. So let's start. Minnie started up in a kind of a joyful frenzy and ran about the room, grasping at everything that happened to be in his way. He seized one of his bedposts, and mainly a fluted golden pillar. He pulled aside a window curtain in order to admit a clear spectacle of wonders which he was performing, and the tassel grew heavy in his hand, a mass of gold. He took up a book from the shelf at his first such as assumed the appearance of such a spendful bound and gilt-edged volume as one often meets with nowadays. But on his running feet through the leaves, behold, it was a golden bundle of thin golden plates, in which all of the wisdom of the book had grown illegible. He hurriedly put on his clothes and was in a rapture to see himself in a magnificent suit of gold cloth, but retained its flexibility and softness, although it burned in him a little with his weight. He drew out his handkerchief with a little marigold he had hemmed for them. That was likewise gold. Midas now took his spectacles from his pocket and put them on his nose, in order that he might see more distinctly what he was about to. To his great perplexity, however, excellent as the glasses, and that's what he looks like, I think, where he discovered that he could not possibly see through them. This was the most natural thing in the world, for on taking off, the transparent crystals turned out to be a yellow metal, and of course were worthless as spectacles. Though valuable as gold, it struck Midas as rather inconvenient that all of his wealth he could never again be rich enough to own a pair of surgical spectacles. "It is no great matter, nevertheless," he said to himself, very philosophically. "These are a little bit long words, big words. We cannot expect any great good without it being accompanied with small inconvenience. The Golden Touch was worth the sacrifice of a pair of spectacles, at least, if not of one's very eyesight. My own eyes will serve for ordinary purposes, and little Marigold will soon be old enough to read to me." What was usually a king's breakfast in the days of Midas, I really don't not know, and cannot stop now to investigate to the best of my belief. However, on this particular morning, the breakfast consisted of hot cakes, some nice little brook trout, roasted potatoes, fresh boiled eggs, and coffee for the King Midas himself, and a bowl of bread and milk for his daughter Marigold. At all events, this is a breakfast fit to set before a king, and whether he had not had it or not, King Midas could not have it had a better. He took one of the little trouts on his plate, and by experiment touched the tail with his finger. To his horror, immediately transmuted from an admiringly fried brook trout into a goldfish. Not one of those goldfishes which people often keep in glass globes as ornaments for the parlor. Its little bones were old wires, its fins and tails were then plates of gold, and there were marks of the fork in it, and all delicate, frothy appearance of the nicely fried fish, exactly immuted in metal. A very pretty piece of work, as you may pose, only King Midas just at that moment would rather have real trout in his dish than elaborate and valuable imitation of one. I don't quite see, thought himself, how am I to get any breakfast? He took one of the smoking hot cakes and had scarcely broken it, one to his cruel mortification, though a moment before it had been one of the whitest sweet, it assumed the yellow hue to oatmeal. To say the truth, if it had been a hot cake, Midas would have prized it a good deal more than he now did. Almost in despair, he helped himself to a bowl of dish which immediately underwent a change similar to one of those trout and cake. The egg, indeed, might have been mistaken for one of those which the famous goose in the storybook, Jack and the Beanstalk, was the habit of laying, but King Midas was the only goose that had anything to do with the matter. "Oh, this is contrary," thought he, leaned back in his chair and looked quite enviously at little Marigold, who was now eating her bread and milk with great satisfaction. "Such costly breakfast before me, and nothing that can be eaten." Hoping to avoid what he now felt to be considerate inconvenience, King Midas next snatched a potato and attempted to cram it in his mouth and swallowed it in a hurry, but the golden touch was too noble for him. He found his mouth full of not merely potato but a solid metal, which burnt his tongue, and he roared aloud, and jumping from the table began to dance and stamp about the room, both with pain and fright. "Father, dear father," cried little Marigold, "who has the affectionate child? Pray, what is the matter? Have you burnt your tongue?" "Ah, dear child," groaned "I don't know what has become of your old poor father." "As truly, my dear little folks, did you ever hear of a pitiful case in your lives? Here is literally the richest breakfast that could be set for a king, and its very richest made out of absolutely good for nothing. The poorest laborer, sitting down to his crust of bread and cup of water, way far better off than King Midas, whose delicate food was really worth its weight in gold." And what was to be done already at breakfast? Midas was savagely hungry. Would he be less so by dinner time? And how ravenous would be his appetite for supper, which must undoubtedly consist of some same sort of indescribable dishes as those now before him. How many days, think you, would survive a continuance of which fare? "I would not even last an hour." Well, 4 hours. And here is the questions that I will be answering next, the next part, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.